You're tuned into the P. Rice Show on 89.5 FM WSKB, and right now we got Red Pages on the line with us. What's up, y'all?
Hey, what's up? Yo, thanks for having me. Shout out, what's up?
Hey, no problem. Anytime, I'm glad that you were able to call into the show, Very welcomed as a guest.
Thank you.
So, for those who may not be familiar with you and they missed it out on the introduction, why don't you tell them what your name is and where you're coming from?
Red Pages out of Lawtown, Mass.
Hell yeah. So, how did you come up with the name Red Pages?
Well, funny story. I'm a little bit older probably than most of the audience. No, I'm just playing. But, Red Rock, Red. I've always been that loud, obnoxious person singing, always doing something with music and everybody's face. So my brother nicknamed me Red as a child, and the pages kind of tells it itself. It's each day is another story. I'm writing my story, sharing it, so I feel like my music is part of a page.
Absolutely, that's a real deep concept as well. And you also got a release coming up entitled Leave It on the Pad.
Leave It on the Page, yes.
Leave It on the Page, my bad about that.
Oh, no problem, yes. So it's my first EP that I'm dropping. I've been in and out of music. My brother passed away maybe about 15 years ago now, so I took a hiatus for like 10 years, but I've been grinding heavy back in, and I got such a heavy story that I want to share with everybody that I'm excited about doing it.
Definitely, and I just want to go back a little bit about your brother. We actually played some of his music at the beginning of the show, Scientifik. We played Lawtown, and so we wanted to represent for your brother and for you as well, for both of y'all music, both coming out of Massachusetts.
Yeah. Much respect for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, we got to keep the name alive, keep the hip-hop that makes us motivate behind alive,
Absolutely, and we need more of that in today's mainstream hip-hop, which definitely seems to be a struggle nowadays.
Word. Indeed. The music's out there, though, it's just not, going to be what we always turn on the radio to hear, but it's there. We just got to keep searching and promoting what we love instead of bashing what we hate.
Exactly. And you mentioned you were making music back when your brother was around. So, at what exactly age did you start forming your love for hip hop and R&B music? Was it before you actually started making music?
I originally started singing in about like third grade. Like I was very Whitney Houston and old school influence, stuff like that. And after maybe I'll say about fourth grade is when I really started getting into hip-hop. I used to hear my brother spitting from the room side or what they was bumping. We're talking way back, KRS-One, the stars of hip-hop and all them. So that's where I got the introduction to hip-hop. But back then, I used to rhyme, too, more than I did sing. So rhyming was, like, my first focus in, like, fifth grade. But I took it serious maybe about, like, freshman year. And then that's really when I felt like that was where it was the strongest point at that age that I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Awesome. And so it kind of seems like singing came natural to you. Did you take any lessons, or would you say that it came natural?
It did. I recently started taking lessons. Shout out to Lizette Padano. She's out of Lawtown, Mass. She's actually my vocal teacher. We've been doing this about 3 months now. It was something that came naturally, but not so much like instantly I can just sing. I felt like the music touched me, the words, when I saw how they were able to express themselves, and I mimicked the feeling, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
I was told I had a talent. I just felt like this is what I loved. It felt good,
No.
Thankful that people appreciate what I do.
Absolutely. You definitely have a great feeling when people appreciate your artwork.
Thank you. Definitely. It feels good. It feels good one thing at a time to listen, to take the time out to hear what I got to say. That's a good feeling. Definitely.
Exactly. So how was growing up in Lawrence, aka Lawtown, and was there, would you say, a developing hip-hop R&B scene as, your brother was involved with it?
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of it going on, like IKJ, Somatic, Scientifik, Crumb Snatcher, sex, term, there's so many textbooks. I can go on and on, missing elements. There was always that substance to hip hop. Like, that's what kept, us, I guess, sane out here. Like, Lawrence is a very, very small place. You don't have to jump away from everybody, so you're in everybody's face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the way to outlet out.
All right. No, I feel that. I feel that. It was a way somewhere to put your creative energy in.
Yes, not lose it. So many of us get caught up. And we see as children when we're younger and we're going through life and we start to understand kind of what path we want to take. You see a lot of people go south, and that's why so many people can also relate to that in their music, their verses, on the stories that people have gone through and known somebody that's gone through, and give y'all a piece of what Lockdown is from. I mean, artists from Lockdown pretty much always talk what really happened, so you can listen to the lyrics in between the lines.
Absolutely, and we're going to be airing some of your music later on. I plan on playing, like I said to you, the majority of the tracks that you got up on your Reverb Nation page. You can check out Red Pages on Reverb Nation. You can also check her out on Facebook as well, and we'll get further into more links later on to the show. So, because I want to talk about your upcoming release, Leave It to the Page. For those that don't know too much about it, could you explain to us what your main message and vibe that you want to get across to your audience?
It's just a piece of me. Leaving on the Page can be considered a dark album. It's some of the things that I went through, and share my experience, and then there's positive messages, or just it's a vibe. Like, I want y'all to rock with me and step into my world, and hopefully you will learn and love something from it.
Absolutely, no, I feel that. Could you give us example of any stories you might mention on the upcoming release within your lyrics?
Of course, definitely. Like, for example, Better Back Then, a good friend that I was with for a while as like best friends, and we crossed the boundary. We took it to a relationship, and it didn't work out, and lost the friendship. So it was Better Back Then. That's one of the tracks that you'll play off the Reverb.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the title of that track?
Better Back Then.
Never Back Down?
Better Back Then?
Oh yeah, Better Back Then, featuring Patrick Starr.
Yes. Patrick Starr. It's actually partly bad now.
Hell yeah. I gotta say, I've been pleased with all the tracks that I've heard so far, especially Love. I played that before you came onto the phone line. And your vocals, I can't say who you remind me of, but just a powerful R&B soul singer, legit.
Thank you. Shout out to Shirt too, so people do that, definitely.
Absolutely. So, who are some of the producers you are working with for your Leave It on the Page release?
There's quite a few different producers on there. I have R.I.P out of Lawtown, Mass. I have R.I.P out of Switzerland, Cynic Deep out of Swiss. I have Baby out of Surefire. Different producers on there, it's more about the beats that touch them. Shout out to them because they're able to capture the vibe of each song I was trying to lay out first. So.
Hell yeah. And so, how many tracks do you plan to have on the EP as well? Is it an EP or an actual album?
EP, 11.
All right, nice. So, with the tracks that you have released, like we already kind of covered it a little bit, but you have a few collaborations with Patrick Starr. Could you tell us a little bit about your guys' collaborations? And you also collaborate with Boston's Rex. Could you tell us, like, maybe the relationship you guys got between you guys when you do music together, when you go into the studio, or however y'all do it?
Yeah, definitely. Patrick and I, we hang out all the time. Like, that's my best friend. We've been working for quite a few years now, and chemistry is dope. Like, I'm on his album that's dropping Tuesday, People Fine Wine. And, like, we have that chemistry, like, we vibe to beat, and the rocks out, and then we just fine tune it from there. So, shout out to him, that's dope. And Rex, I've known maybe since I was, like, 10. we grew up, you know, we went to high school together. I've known him for a minute, so, they're both talented individuals, so it's easy to vibe with people that are like-minded, so salute to them.
That's dope. That's dope. And you guys definitely put it down on all the tracks you collaborated on.
Thank you, thank you.
And I want to cover about your track entitled "Wish List," which it seems to be a remix or a cover of "So Far to Go," originally produced by Jay Dilla. And and I would take it as a tribute to Jay Dilla as well, because you know you did his production justice. And we're gonna play it later on the show tonight, so everyone stay tuned.